This is the Stephan Hogan Podcast.
Johnny Clawson.
What's going on, man?
Welcome to the podcast.
It's nice to be here.
I never start podcasts like that.
Well,
there's some people that are like, they start with a really deep question.
Yeah.
But I don't. I usually just start the clip somewhere in the conversation where it's like a good part that like catches your attention.
Yeah.
But I also like the idea of being like, Johnny Clawson, welcome to the podcast.
I'm glad to be the guinea pig on that.
Okay.
The little crash test dummy. I think it went great.
Did you like it?
For the listeners at home, how do you think it went? We'll pause for 2 seconds for. I think they loved it.
Yeah. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share if you like that intro.
Stephan Hogan Podcast. Hey, welcome back to your podcast.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. You moved here in 2018.
2018, September 1st.
Where'd you move from?
Well, I think the answer you're probably looking for is Virginia, but I moved here from New York City.
That's a better answer.
It's a more jarring difference. Yeah. I went to college in Virginia and graduated with a degree in finance and economics and moved up to the company that I had interned for. I got a job offer up there, and I lived in Brooklyn for 3 months, which was the length of the sublease that I had. And at the end of that sublease, I was like, I need to go write songs. So I quit. I think when I put in my 2 weeks, the director of our, our sector, the building was just like, that might be the shortest, stay anybody's taking here, but it was the right thing to do. I just, I love New York, and I liked the job a lot, and I liked the people I worked with.
Was it in finance?
It was in finance. It was a company called HedgeServe. So we were doing hedge fund administration.
Were you going to be a big hedge fund guy?
I think in my mind, that was kind of like the 5-year goal was to move over to like a hedge fund or something, or just into the valuations department or something like that. Valuations was what I interned for. And I took an entry-level position there doing more like administrative stuff, but just kind of getting my feet wet with it all. But it was fun. And I think that city, is so vibrant, and there's a lot of energy up there, which I think is really fun. But there's a lot of energy in Nashville too. It's a different thing. It's a different pace.
So how important, because we call it the music business, and it's a business as much as it's music. In fact, in my mind, sometimes the business trumps the talent.
Sure. For some people, yeah. You see examples of that everywhere.
How has your financial background impacted your ability to navigate the business side of the music business?
My background, probably not much. But I do think I'm like, I know when to turn the business-minded side of me on, like, because the thing with Nashville, most people that I've worked with closely have become really good friends, whether it's writers, publishers, artists, this, that, and the other. It's like, I just like, I feel like when you get close to somebody you work with, you can work in a different way. You can work more creatively. You're showing sides of you that you don't show everybody. And I think there's something beautiful about that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to like doing deals and this stuff, it is, it's your life. You got to do what's right for you. So I think I have a good sense of like when it's time to do that. And luckily you have lawyers involved in all that stuff. So you kind of let them be the bad guy for you.
What's an example of when it's time?
Yeah, really just like signing deals and stuff, or, extensions, negotiations. Just that's really the only time I've ever, when I got to go hardball for something I want for the next 4 years or something. That's when I have to.
Okay,
once all that's wrapped up, it's back to what's up, buddy?
Yeah, what is the hardball process?
Oh, I think it's just like I'm a people pleaser, at heart, and I've like always said, like, I'm an easygoing guy, and I don't care where we go for dinner. I'm easy, whatever. But if you're that person in business, you can get the short end of the stick a lot of the time. And I think it's just, if you can bear down and fight for what you want, even if you don't get it all, but you give it a good shot and you don't compromise on certain things, I think that's really important. I mean, this is, you never know when your moment's going to happen, and you want to be set up for a good circumstance when it comes.
Can you give an example?
My first deal. My first deals are historically the worst deals that you're ever going to sign, just because the publishers, you're unproven, right? You usually don't have any notable cuts or hits going into those deals, so it's like you can get shafted really easily. So fighting for good back end publishing things is important. That first deal, making sure you're keeping your draw low, but getting enough so you can eat and pay your rent is important. I feel like, deals are structured a lot of different ways, but the first deals are kind of all historically pretty not great. So I think, I was lucky to have some cool, I'm still in my first deal right now. And I've had some cool stuff happen in this first deal that hopefully I've put myself in a decent enough position to actually benefit from it. Like, I heard a story about a writer who sold a catalog that he had a hit in that he didn't make a dime off of because he had sold it already. And, I think being able to foresee those kind of things happening, you can't win them all. You never will. And that's just, honestly, it's just bad luck. And, it's still a hit for him, and it's a big thing on the resume. But being able to foresee as many possible outcomes and set yourself up in a good way, I think that's important.
Yeah. And
you just do your best,
Yeah. In terms of writer to attorney relationship, is that somewhat of a collaborative effort?
Definitely. And the way it works with me is I work with my attorney kind of like, I don't want to talk to for me, it's really only publishers. I'm not signing record deals or anything right now, but it's I don't want to talk to my point person who I scheme on rights and songs and pitching with. I don't want to talk to her about money and publishing and all that stuff. I'd rather, that's what the middleman's for, so it doesn't get awkward.
So it's their attorney, your attorney,
yes,
figuring it out. Yeah,
and I'm just
and that way you're
this
cool.
Is how badly
that way
I
you're
do
cool with your guys at work.
Yeah. That way it's it's no bad blood. It's this is what I want. This is what I'm willing to accept. This is what I'm not willing to accept. If we can find something in that, great. If not, then we move on. It's that. So she can go have all those conversations, and I can just be because if they ask me in the office, they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know, man. Talk to her. I'd really rather not.
Yeah, I think that's smart, man. I think that's a good piece of advice, because we have a lot of people that listen to the podcast that have those questions that may or may not have signed that first deal or want to have that first deal.
Sure.
And even Vince Gill on the podcast said your first deal is usually terrible, just like
usually
you said.
Terrible, yeah.
And pretty much everybody says that. So where's the point where your deal gets good? When do you get negotiating power, I guess is
I'll
my
let
question.
you know when I find out. No, I think you get negotiating power when either you've had a big moment, with a big song or something, or if just there's a lot of great writers in town who haven't had their big moment yet, but everybody knows they're great writers. And I think that carries just as much weight, going into renegotiating extensions, second deals, whatever. They're they're great and they're going to have a big moment, and people will be willing to reward you for that, I think.
Yeah. Cool, man.
I'll let you know when I get there.
Well, I mean, you have two number one. I don't know if they give a double play award, but they give a triple play.
Believe me, I'm eyeing it down. I'm trying to figure that one out.
Yeah,
right
dude.
now.
Jaron Johnson got the triple play. We were talking about that. You just got, how much time do you have left to get that other number one?
this is just, I think this is right. Texas, which was my first one, went in May. I believe I have until next May.
Oh.
So I think it's like a calendar year from when the first one hits.
Oh, dude, you'll get it. You'll hit it.
I
mean, you knocked two down pretty fast.
Well, that was all luck. Those kind of happened right at the same. I think those singles got sent within 2 months of each other. They went number one within 2 months of each other, or like 9 weeks or something. But it's like that whole event was like, it didn't feel like two things happening. It just felt like this one giant, what is going on? What have I stumbled into here?
Yeah, let's dive into that.
Sure. Yeah.
First off, when you wrote the song, so let's back up. So for people listening, so Texas, Blake Shelton. Weren't for the Wind, Ella Langley.
Yep.
Joy Beth was on the podcast, and she's the other writer. You, her, and Ella.
Yeah.
And
I listened to that clip just to make sure we kept our story straight.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. And then we have, I ran into Kyle at UMPG the other day, who was one of the writers on Texas.
Yep.
Was it, how many writers were there?
That was 4.
Okay.
Me, him, Josh Dorr and Lalo Guzman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have these 2 big hits within just a short period of time. I mean, a month goes by like that.
Oh yeah. Especially when you're like watching every day. Like,
oh yeah. What, the charts, media based?
Oh yeah. They say don't look. There was no way in the world that was ever going to happen. I was like, I know that the chart only refreshes once a day, and I'm checking like 6 times a day. I'm checking like once an hour, like just to make sure it's
your UPS package.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're like, it says it's shipping tomorrow. Nothing's changed.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, dude. What is that? Walk me through that feeling.
Sure. I mean, so well, it's funny because Weren't for the Wind, we wrote that first. We wrote that. Sorry, I'm good with dates, so I'm not trying to be weird. But we wrote that November 1st of 2023, and that one got recorded like January 2024. So I knew I had that one like in the pipeline. I had a couple songs on that Hungover record and the Still Hungover Deluxe for Ella, and so I knew those were coming. I didn't know any of them would be singles. I actually thought I probably wouldn't get a single. And then in July, it's funny, what's today, July 21st or something? July 18th of last year was when we wrote Texas. So like we all just hit the text message about like 1 year anniversary of the song even being written. July 18th, we write that song. 3 weeks later, I'm at the beach. I get a call that Blake Shelton just put it on hold. And I was like, cool. That probably won't happen, but that's cool. You know, an hour goes by. They're like, Blake's heard it. And I think the text that we got from Scott Hendricks was, you better double dog lock that down or something like that. And we were like, oh, maybe means business. They're like, we wouldn't be surprised if we cut this in 2 days. So we're like holding our breath for 2 days. 2 days goes by, they cut it. A month goes by, we go out to Scott Hendricks, his place. He plays it for us on his boat. We're freaking out, whatever. He says to us on the boat, he goes, will this be y'all's first single? We're like, if it's a single. Oh no, he said, will this be y'all's first number 1? We're like, we don't even know if it's a single yet. What are you talking about? And lo and behold, everything he told us was true. It was the first single off the record. It was our first number 1 together. I found out that the Ella song was going.
Who's Scott Hendricks?
Oh, sorry. Scott Hendricks is Blake Shelton's producer, longtime producer.
So did he forecast it because of how great the song was? And
I think
how did that all work?
A feeling around like how Blake felt about the song, how they felt, just the Blake team felt about the song. They were going to a new label over at BBR, Wheelhouse. And he was a part of all those conversations. I think he just had a general consensus of like, what the game plan was.
And he's probably got a lot of pull, obviously, being Blake Shelton.
I would guess he definitely has like at least some of the final say there. But anyway, he knew more than we did, all to say. But anyways, that song came out in November and went to radio the day after my birthday. Huge weekend, so fun. I find out at our Christmas party a week and a half later that Weren't for the Wind is going to go to radio also. So it, I kind of hadn't even absorbed the Texas thing yet. And I'm finding out Weren't for the Wind's going in like a month. So this whole thing has just been one giant event. And I don't mean for it to sound the way that it sounds in my head, but it's like people are like, what's it like to have 2 number ones? I'm like, man, I barely even know what it's like to have one. This is all just kind of happened at the same time. And I've just kind of ended up with 2. So, and I'm so grateful for that. And, I couldn't have written the story any better. But yeah, it's just like, and Weren't for the Wind went 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm still on the come down of really the whole last year. So,
did it make you feel the way you thought you'd feel?
I think most people would say no, because Scotty Scheffler just did this awesome interview going into the British Open. And he was saying he's the number 1 golfer in the world. He's won all these major tournaments. And he's like, that's not the thing that fulfills me. He's like, yeah, it's awesome, but it's like a minute of celebration. And then it's like, how do we win next weekend? And there is a little bit of that for sure. But, I'm going into my 30s this year. And I think this has made me feel a lot better about my age. It's like maybe, a lot of my friends from college all have real jobs and they are making good money and they're doing this, that, and the other thing. And I think it made me feel like, just because I've been, busting my tail the same way they have. And it's fine. Like I finally have a little bit of something to show for it. So I think I've gotten a little piece out of that. And the other thing I'll say is that every story I ever heard from peers or just like interviews like this is like, oh man, I wish I would have celebrated my first number 1 more. Or like, I wish I would have enjoyed the process more. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that on Texas, we partied so hard. We had so much fun with it. I mean, when we found out it went on hold, you would have thought we went multi-platinum and 5-week number 1 that weekend, and then when it got recorded, we went out again. When we heard it on Scott's Boat, we went out again. It's like, this is all before it even came out, Then it came out and we're out again, We were so annoying, but we had so much fun and we really took in the whole experience. So I do feel like we've really celebrated the wins, which I think is cool, a really fun part of the story. So,
yeah. I heard you say something interesting, which is basically the comparison factor, where you look at your friends or people that maybe you follow on Instagram or whatever in comparison, or like it's a real estate agent or someone, and they're like doing their big boy jobs.
Yeah.
And there you are writing songs for your measly draw compared to what they're making on selling multi-million-dollar homes, let's say. And how long did you feel that, like, man, am I ever going to be successful in this?
Yeah. I'm it's like, this is just the life of a songwriter. And it's the bet you take on yourself, but it's like, I've spent all my 20s being broke, and I'd do it all again, obviously. And I've, like I said, I had that job in New York, and while the job didn't last long up there, I did get, a quick glimpse into what life could have been like. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a bad life. It just wasn't the one that I wanted to be living. I'm so much happier being broke writing songs than I would have been making decent money up there, doing what I was doing up there. And I think, like I said, it's the risk you take. It's the bet you take on yourself. And I'm so blessed that, this year I've had a fun year. And But, you know, if I didn't have a fun year, I'd still be doing the same thing.
Has that comparison part played a role in your mental health at all before you hit the hold?
Sure.
Like how many times,
you know,
if any, did you say to yourself, like, man, I'm showing up every day. I'm writing songs. I'm working really hard. Am I ever going to be able to like have the thing that like shows that I did all this work and it finally paid off?
Yeah. Yeah. I never got to the point where I was like, this is my last year or any of that. But if, I think one of the really special things about Nashville is the community, and you can kind of, you know, when things are getting going, you can just lean on, just be like, call up a buddy and just be like, tell me I know how to write songs. Tell me that I'm going to get good news soon. And, you know, like, just tell me that we're not doing this for nothing, you know, and all they got to do is affirm you. And you're like, thank you. See you in an hour. You know, it's like, but I remember.
That's so real. That's such a, like, that is so real for anybody in the creative field.
Mm-hmm. And I've been the guy on both sides of that phone call, you know.
That's beautiful, man.
Well, it's just because you need to be that person for everybody in town. And you need to have those people in town. And
I had a call like that on last Friday with a friend that I called.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, tell me that, you know, like whatever. I just needed someone to tell me I'm not crazy, you know?
Right.
Someone to believe in you more than you believe in you almost.
Yeah. Or just like, tell me I'm not the craziest person in the world thinking that I have any right being here, you know?
Yeah.
It's
because I guess what I should have said just then was, first off, and you mentioned it earlier, was like, you believed in yourself. Mm-hmm. Like you're betting on yourself. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's going to believe in them, like believe in you, it's you.
Yeah.
So it's the same with me. And I think anybody that pursues this artistic lifestyle, they believe in what they're doing. And if they weren't, they wouldn't be doing it.
I always used to say, people would be like, do you ever listen to your own songs? And I know that there's like artists who don't listen to their stuff and people who don't watch their own movies that they act in and stuff. And I do get it. But I'm like, yeah, why would I write a song I don't like?
Yeah.
Well, I do that all the time too. But, you know, like I listen to the songs I enjoy. And it's like, because I believe in them. They're, you know, they're your babies. And
how many of the songs have you written that you think are number ones, or you're like, you finish it and you're like, man, that's a banger, has done nothing? And then when Texas and Work for the Wind came along, when you wrote them, were you like finished and you're like, man, these are bangers, number ones for sure?
Great question, because I have two different answers for both songs. Texas was such an interesting one because I had that idea in my, I had She's Probably in Texas. I knew there was a George Strait component to it, but I knew I didn't want it to be like an interpolation thing. But we got in there and Lalo started doing that, this kind of like little Latin Western thing. That's cool. And throughout the title, we were playing with it. We got something going, and then we pivoted to a different idea because it wasn't quite clicking yet. And then we were like, no, I think we had it right already. I think we were on the right track. But anyways, we really slogged that song out. We didn't get out of there till like 5 or 5:30 or something. Like it wasn't like that. We wrote it in 90 minutes and we knew it was a smash. You know, we slogged through it.
And can you reference what the usual co-write times are for people listening?
It's always different, but you know, I think most people would say like a 3 to 4 hour session's pretty normal. You know, getting the demo done and everything. So you're writing 2.5, 3 hours.
Starting at what, like 10:30, 11?
11, yeah.
Yeah, and then you write through lunch, which is always weird to me.
Yeah. It's
like bring your own snacks.
So horrible.
Yeah, dude. And then you finish the song at like what, maybe 2:30, 3.
Yeah, get the demo done, you get out of there.
And so you guys, there's a lot of mental energy that goes into this process. Mm-hmm. A lot of like
you're exhausted
brain power.
At the end. It's like, it's weird because all you did was sit on the couch and think, but it's like
but so much analytical thinking.
Yeah.
And your brain burns the most calories of any organ in your body. I don't know if you knew that. But I found that
tell
out
the rest of my body that I'm burning
from
calories.
Andrew Huber. But it's why you're exhausted after you think a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, that one just took a long time. It wasn't an easy song to write. And there's like that pre-chorus section where we're like, how's your girl? She ain't my girl. It's like, that ended up kind of being the thing of the song. Like, it was like, that's the hill we're going to die on. That part is either going to be the selling point on it, or it's like the song was cool till they all did that. Like, we weren't sure if we were being so lame or so cool on that thing, you know? And I'll never forget Kyle Sturrock, just like side note, he's, you know, my best friend in town. We've written 450 songs, and that's not hyperbolic. It might be more, you know. I've known him since 2019, and we
just you and Kyle on the 450.
Yeah.
With Kyle.
Mm-hmm. We hitched our wagons to each other early on.
I love that, dude.
We're either gonna get this done together, or we're gonna get run out of town together. And which is, you know, why this whole thing was special to have our first one together. But I'll never forget that night. We got the demo back, and he texted me. He was like, "What do you think of that song?" I was like, I think it's a jam. Like, the demo sounded awesome. There's just something to it, you know? And I was like, but you know, like, that's all I said. I didn't say, I was like, this song is going to be the song. And he was like, it's either awesome or effing terrible. You know, it's just like, which when it comes to outside pitch songs, it's a pretty good place to live. Because it means you're taking a bigger swing. And, you know, no artist is going to cut an outside song that's like a 7 out of 10. You know, like, yeah, it's a cool song. No artist is going to cut that song. They want to cut a song that, like, at least in my experience, that is like doing something different or quirky, or, you know, like, or just like, and I think that's why I like that "how's your girl" thing. It's like, that was different. And whether it was cool or not is, you know, up for everybody's personal opinion. But I think a song with a thing like that is maybe what helped catch Blake's ear. But.
Yeah. This is the part where in the podcast I'd like fade in the song right there so people could hear it, pull it back. But I think it would get demonetized, or I don't have like the rights to do that.
Okay.
But people need to go listen to it if they haven't. For those that don't even listen to country, because I think it's cool. Because what you did was you kind of burnt the boats on the song and stormed the island. You know, one of those like ballsy moves that paid off.
Yeah, and it was a real lesson going forward. Like, when there's not an artist in the room, it's like, what can we do here that nobody needs to write another song today? We all write 200 songs a year. It's like, nobody just needs another one. Like, what can we do here that'll be special or different? Or like when you move to town, they're like, dare to suck. It's like, let's dare to suck today. Let's do something weird, you know? So that was a real mentality shift in the last year. And the other lesson was show up. That day, it was me, Kyle, Josh, and Lalo. We're all really good buddies. Kyle, as I said, me and him have written 1 million songs together. And, you know, I was in his wedding. He will be in mine one day. Like,
yeah, he just got married like
a year ago. Yeah. Like, we, you know, not only are we really close collaborators, we're close friends. Josh Dorr was the first person I wrote with at Smack, which is the company I ended up at. We've been really good buddies. We've written a lot of really great songs since I've been there. Lalo, back when I was doing my artist stuff, he's one of the first people I met in town. He was my producer. He was one of the guys who really advocated for me getting a deal at Smack. Like, these are all really good buddies. And I got canceled on the night before this ride. Kyle and Lalo were together, but their third got pulled out on. Josh got canceled on. They were like, y'all are friends. Y'all just go right. On a day that I think normally a lot of us would have just taken a break, you know? So
who put that right together?
It must have been Smack, just because there's 3 Smack writers on it. But I can neither confirm or deny, you know?
Yeah. I'm just curious. Like, when
I think it's probably people just a cancel. Smack thing. Yeah.
So people cancel and stuff, but somehow it's like, oh, they knew that.
They're like, all these
Kyle's
guys are
with
open.
you in PG, but you're with Smack. Mm-hmm. But somehow
he was already writing with Lalo that day.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, just put them all together, y'all. And so, you know, it was a lesson in showing up. That's what's so fun. This song has been a lesson in daring to suck, a lesson in showing up, a lesson in celebrating wins. It's like, which is cool to like, you know, have your first song be a good reminder of all the things they tell you right when you move here that are really easy to forget.
But there was probably something in you that was conscientious about the fact that you wanted to celebrate it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always looking for some, you know, anything's a good reason to celebrate. But
I like that.
But yeah, I didn't want this one to pass us by, you know, especially, you know, when are you ever going to it's such a good story to get to do it with your friends on the first one, you know. It wasn't like nobody can look at it and be like, oh, X big writer was on this song. That's probably why it was a hit, you know, because there were no big writers on the song. It was just a bunch of buddies just throwing stuff at the wall.
But now, it worked out.
And it worked out, you know, by the grace of God, crazy. And then with the Ella song, on the flip side of that, we wrote that song, and I thought that song was a smash. Like we were on a bus run. It was, I want to say we wrote 5 songs on that bus run. That was the 4th one. And I thought that song was awesome. I was like, that's an Ella Langley song if I ever heard it. Like, I remember when Ella would step out for a second, like Joy Beth and I would be like, I think we're doing the thing, you know, like she'd come back. Just like with artists, you're like, you know, with artists, you're like, hey, I think this is a smash for you because that's rude, you know, but when they walk over and you're like, I think we're doing a good job here. And Ella was doing like all the I feel like an Ella Langley song has like the Ella sauce on it. Like she has a thing she does melodically. She was doing all those things throughout the verse. Like I think she was the one who said that I wouldn't paint me as a heartbreaker thing. But like as soon as she did that, I was like, let's go. You know, that was the demo. I was like, don't mess this up. You know, it's so I had a very different feeling about that song. I felt really good. That was like when I got back in town, my publisher was like, send me some of the stuff you wrote, like send me the work tape. That was the one I was sending out to everybody. I was like, we might have done something here. So
who did the work tape?
Well, we did the work tape on the bus in the room.
Just a voice recording?
Mm-hmm. And then we cut the demo back in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were sending the work tape out of just you guys on the bus?
Just to my publishers and stuff. Okay. Just like, they're like, how'd it go? And I was like, check this thing out.
What did they think?
I think they thought it was awesome. Yeah. But I don't think anybody thought it would be like that song. I mean, that song has been such a game changer. Like people in town always have really nice things to say about that song. The numbers on that song have been kind of like unfathomable for me. Like, especially thinking back to where we were when we were writing that song, you know.
How did it feel holding that plaque?
No. Oh, the gold thing. Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it was just crazy because that was the first time that the three of us had been in a room together in a long time. Like I'd seen them both kind of, you know, separately, but that was the first time. And we played it that night, that was the first time we ever played it together. And that was really cool.
That listening room video you posted?
Yeah, it was Joy Beth Taylor, who's a writer on that song, if we didn't say that already. Joy Beth, her round. She was playing with Colton Venner, who's one of my best buddies, and I think Palmer Anthony was there that night too. And Ella texted me. She was like, "Are you going to this?" And I was like, "I was thinking about it." She was like, "You should go. I'm gonna jump up there and do Work for the Win." Little did I know she had the plaques with her, and there's a little more of a plan there. So yeah, it was really cool. That's the only time we've ever played that song all together. And yeah, getting to hold those plaques, I was like, what are we even doing here? We were sitting on a bus run for a bunch of shows that got canceled. You know, like we were just in this parking lot in Idaho for most of that week. We were on our drive back and we wrote that song.
Can you talk about what a bus run is for people that don't know?
Yeah.
And are you about to go on one this week? You said you're leaving? Is that music related?
I'm going on a bus run this weekend as well.
With the artist?
With an artist, yeah. Ashley Cook.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Which you have cuts with? Or a cut with?
None that are out, but some that are forthcoming if all goes according to plan.
Cool.
A bus run is basically you go out, usually 2 or 3 riders with the artist, and you stay on the bus, you do the whole thing, and during the day you write songs with them while you're just trying to make good use of their time because they only have so much time in town, and they'll go out and they'll do the show that night, and everybody gets to watch the show and have a good time. But during the day, it's kind of like down to business trying to write songs for their record. So that's what we were doing then.
Can you talk a little bit about how much free time there is too? A lot of times on tours, because the performance
for them,
section,
not much. Yeah.
The performance section is like, if you're support, what, like 45 minutes?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think, depending.
So that's how much you're performing 45. In 24 hours. Like,
right. But then there's
but there's also probably radio, and
there's promo stuff. Yeah. They're doing content shoots throughout the day. They're, getting show ready, which especially like with the female artists, like
glammed up. Yeah.
They just take their time a little more. Like, the guys could try harder, I think.
Yeah.
No. But they got stuff they have to do during the day. So you kind of only get them for these like 3-hour spurts, like in the middle of the day. They have sound check, and then they got to go have FaceTime with like the other artists on tour, and they just have to be present in their environment. But it is really cool when they have you out, because you can usually write a song with them every day for like 3 days in a row. And I find like when you can kind of do those back-to-back sessions, whether it's on a writer's retreat or a run, that's when you kind of really hit a groove. And it usually is that 3rd or 4th song that ends up being like the song.
Yeah.
Like on that treat or that run where we wrote Weren't for the Win, the songs that got recorded from that run were the 4th and 5th song that we wrote. The 5th being Girl Who Drank Wine.
Why is that?
I just think you kind of have like, you've, shaken the rust off with the first one. And then, I think you're figuring out how the dynamics of how we're going to work together this week. People are taking bigger chances and throwing different ideas out, and you're kind of like, well, we've done that already. What can we do different here? So, I'm sure people have had great luck on the first song too, but that's just been kind of my general experiences. The later songs in the retreat end up being the more special ones, the ones that end up making the records.
Yeah. One of the things about this podcast is there's terminology that people don't understand unless they're in the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of them being writers' retreats.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Yeah. So similarly to a bus run, it's, one group of writers that go out with an artist, except for this time, rather than them having to do shows every night, you go out to like a lake house or some cabin in the woods or something. Doesn't matter. It could be anywhere, but just somewhere where there's no in-town distractions. You're not going home at 4 p.m. It's like you kind of write all day. And, you might write 2 songs a day. You might write no songs a day, but just kind of stack up some ideas you like. But I always make a joke. Like, I went on a writer's retreat in Nicaragua one time. Like, yeah, they love to send us somewhere tropical so we can write songs about small towns in Georgia. But, which, it's funny, but it's kind of a weird disconnect in that way. But it is inspiring just to kind of like get in a new environment. And like I said, you're with those same people. You're figuring out a new dynamic together that you repeat over and over again throughout the week. So I think there's a comfort level that develops by the last day. And, there's usually like bonfires or some kind of really great hang at night, and the closer you get with your collaborators, I think and that's what I was saying at the beginning of our talk. It's like, I think the closer you get with your collaborators and the people you work with, the more avenues for creativity open up. And I don't know why that is, but I've always just kind of leaned into that.
Yeah.
Myself,
it's just the relational side, I think. It's it's the being open, vulnerable, honest. And you really have to be able to do that as a songwriter.
And there is a place for business, and it is a job at the end of the day, and I take that part seriously. But like, it's really hard for me to treat a lot of this as a job just because, and I was actually out doing some country thunder shows this weekend, and I was talking to one of the writers out there, and they were like, I've never written a song about my significant other. I don't write about my life at all. I write about like stories about other people. I'm like, that's so crazy because I'm such the opposite. I'm like, if I can shoehorn a very specific detail about myself in this, I'm going to do it, but that's what I think it's really cool that you can have
for your approach. Sorry to interrupt, but this is a question that's been burning in my brain as we've been talking, which is for you, when you're writing a song,
sure,
I would like to know where you're at, what your headspace is, and like if you could walk us as listeners and viewers through the process of a start to finish song.
I will do my best. But
I'll interrupt you if I have questions.
Please do. I'm going to need it. I think it just starts with a great idea. First off, a great idea, or just like, and that could be a melodic idea, could be a musical idea, or just like a title with a cool hook, but you need something to kind of get the wheels turning. And I think if you have a great idea, 9 times out of 10, one person in the room is gonna get the juices flowing. And being around, if I'm not the guy who's getting inspired right away, being around other people who are inspired inspires me. You know what I mean? It's like, when you're out and you got your buddy jacking you up, you're like, I'm jacked up now.
So how do you know if you have a great idea? Because that's a subjective, man.
It is subjective, but I think it's that kind of thing where you just know it when you hear it.
Like a gut feeling.
You have a gut feeling.
So let's say it's just you writing the song by yourself. You're taking everything that you would do in a co-write, but you're by yourself.
Sure.
And you have what you think is a great idea. Might be a song title.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would the song title, just for people listening, be the hook?
Sure.
Okay. Can you explain the hook real quick?
The hook
and the importance of it.
The hook is, it's kind of, the thesis statement of the song. Why are we all here listening to this right now? It's, weren't for the wind. It's like, maybe I wouldn't be already gone again if it weren't for the wind. The whole song is about this, kind of wayward soul who just keeps drifting and abandoning these things that she's acknowledging that like may or may not serve her in another life, but because she is the way she is, because, and kind of using the wind as the scapegoat, it's like that. If it weren't for the wind, that's the hook. You have your setup line. Maybe I wouldn't be gone, because the whole verse is about getting gone and that stuff. So that in that song, that's the example. But, you take that hook and then you kind of work backwards. You're like, how do we, if you have like I don't know if you can see this rock in the shot, but like you're chipping away at the stone, and it doesn't always work where you work from that line backwards. But if you can start getting a couple lines that start feeling like they're chipping away at that thing, then you're just starting to fill in blanks. And you're like, what are we missing here? What makes sense to us, but when you read it down, it doesn't make sense to the listener yet. I think, you just do your due diligence as you keep going, and just make sure that the words that you're putting down mean something and you're not just filling space.
And where are those words pointing?
Towards the hook. That's why the hook repeats. That's why the chorus repeats, because it's like, this is the point of the song.
So you're basically creating a story.
Sure. Yeah.
It's pointing to the hook.
Yeah.
And you have to be cognizant of what is going to serve the hook.
Right.
And it's easy because I think sometimes people get ideas, or they want to throw in a character or something random that introduces a new element to the song.
Yeah.
Versus really serving the hook.
Yeah.
Can you expound upon that a little bit? Because a lot of people have these questions about songwriting.
Sure.
And there's no real
exception. There's always an exception to the rule. It's like, but there's an old quote, and I don't know who said it, but somebody has said it to me before. They're like, a really great chorus, every line before that hook line could go into the hook line. You know, like the first line could go in the 8th line. The second line could go into the 8th line, the third, and so on and so forth. And I think that's a really good jumping point, you know, as you're getting started in songwriting. It's like, is every line feeding this? Or is that line going from the pre-chorus into the chorus? Like, does that make sense as a jump point? I think transitions are really important in songwriting. Like, I feel like that's something I end up focusing a lot on, is like, is the verse to the pre, is the pre to the chorus, is the chorus back? You know, like, are those transition words feeling like, because in country music especially, it is so like, here's the story. In pop music, it's kind of, the structure is a little different. And I've written a little bit in pop, but not, you know, we're talking about country here for the most part. In rock, it's all like, I got a whole different game plan for that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, in other genres, you can kind of, I remember there's a Def Leppard song called Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody knows that song, but they said that they placed a tape recorder in the middle of the room for that verse. They had that Pour Some Sugar on Me part.
Yeah.
And they just were like, no. You and me, different ends of the room, just kind of shouting roughly through those cadences. And they were like, they just wrote down what they thought it sounded like.
Yeah.
So if you listen to that song, they're like, this song's kind of about nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Except for doing it, I guess. But, you know, I think there's examples where you don't have to be so intentional with your words, but I think 9 times out of 10, especially in country music, there is a little bit of a program.
How much pop do you see infiltrating country?
They say that like Nashville's like always a couple years behind those pop trends and stuff. And I think you see that in production, and you take a guy like Morgan Wallen, who's like kind of on the cutting edge of all that stuff, or, you know, Sam Hunt back in Montevallo season where, where it was just all like really, it felt like it was cutting edge and different. And in Morgan, you hear it in a lot of like his cadences and his melodies and stuff, and production, of course. But I think right now what's so interesting is we're in a time where country's kind of infiltrating pop and other genres. So it's kind of fun to be in country music right now, because rather than feeling like the outside world is coming to us, it kind of feels like we're getting to seep outward for once.
Yeah.
So
who's that girl? Jessie Murph.
Jessie Murph, yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
That's an interesting case study.
Yeah.
To me.
Well, because she's always been Alabama. She's always had this Southern thing to her. But she's always had that like the grit and the rap thing. That's not even the hip hop elements. But she writes with people like Laura Veltz. Laura Veltz is like a super well regarded writer in country, and I think that has something to do with it too. It's just like she's surrounded herself with people in both worlds, so she kind of has a foot straddling it. I'm a big fan of Jessie Murph. I think she's awesome.
Yeah.
And she does stuff that's different.
Yeah, she's come out as very different. I was looking at the also listens to, and the top person for her on the also listens to is Morgan Wallen. Yeah.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because of like, just, I don't know, maybe some of the beats and things, like how he's produced records and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think they have a lot of fans, a lot of the same crossover fans, not only stylistically, but I mean Morgan is just so big. Yeah. So it's hard.
How do you feel about, this is something I was thinking about the other day, and I just had an epiphany. I was like, he's not at any of the award shows ever. Like, I don't even know if he's invited. He's like almost an outcast from my perspective of the industry on a level.
Sure.
That almost makes him more unattainable, which makes if anything, him bigger.
I think that's exactly, without knowing anything about whether he's invited or not, or why he does or does not show up certain years. Like, I do think one of the really cool things is he's not really on social media. I mean, he does like tour updates and that stuff, but he's not like hi, I'm Morgan Wallen every day. You know,
I'm hunting right now.
Yeah, like he's not doing that.
Yeah.
He's pretty quiet. It feels like his life is pretty private. Like he's not a guarantee at all these events. He, you know, playing or attending or winning or what have you. And I think that makes him like, you know, more like the rock stars and the pop stars that we grew up with. Like I grew up on rock stars like Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, all the, you know, Motley Crue. Like those were my 3 favorite bands growing up. And the thing about those guys was you didn't know anything about them until they wrote their tell-alls 40 years down the road, you know, and you knew that they're, you know, they were larger than life and this, that, and the other thing, which I think you see these Morgan Stadium shows and he looks larger than life, and his songs and his sales and all that stuff. They do these huge numbers and the stats are so big. He is larger than life to most of the, you know, for public consumption. And the fact that he doesn't let you in on his private life so much, I think only plays into that, which I think for him is a really awesome move. And I'm sure when you're him and I'm sure it's hard for him to go anywhere. It's like, of course you want to hang on to as much privacy as you can. I think he's doing it right. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I really dig it as well. What about you for your career? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
It's funny. I feel like I have a clearer view now than I did 5 years ago. Because 5 years ago, I was still reckoning like, do I want to be an artist and all that stuff? And because I do like to be the guy who sings the demo, and I love playing shows. Like every time I do a whiskey jam or something like that in town.
You have an artist personality.
Interesting. Well, thank you.
Well, you're very likable.
Thank you.
And I think it's one of the things that like Lainey Wilson does it really well.
Yeah. She's like one of the most, I've never met her. She's one of the most likable people I've ever like watched. Well, like every time she makes a speech, I'm like, yeah.
Well,
write that down.
You have that vibe about you. I just want to let you know.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot less concise and clear with my words probably, but.
Who cares?
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I am.
You're well spoken.
Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I don't feel so much. Rather than getting to the point, I feel like I kind of ramble to the point.
Me too, bro.
I hope people have a good time along the way. But no, 5 years ago, I was still trying to figure out if I wanted to be an artist. I had like 5 years ago I was still bartending at a country club, and I was recording songs with Lalo at the time, and I'd had a couple guys in the industry stick their neck out in small ways to kind of help move the needle along for me, like Ryan Hurd and Bobby Bones, and I was like, maybe this is the viable next step. And when I was signing my first publishing deal, there was a conversation about like, how much do I want artists? How many artist clauses do we want in here? We kind of ended up going with really not many at all.
What's an artist clause?
Oh, just more so, how much of my publishing deal do I want like my artist career to be hinged on? Like different deal points that like, if you sign a record deal, this, that, and the other thing happen. And basically, did I want my publishers treating me like an artist, or did I want them treating me like a writer? And because there's different approaches. It's like there's getting great songs from me, or there's getting me good opportunities with other artists and all that stuff. And that's the route we ended up taking. And I think that was the right choice. I think I'm much better off at home rather than on the road. And I just, I get a lot of career fulfillment out of writing songs with and for other people. So
5 years from
5 years ago, 5 years from now, I think it looks hopefully a lot like it does today. I think there's some things in my personal life I would like to have ironed out by then. But I hope I'm still writing with a lot of the same people I'm writing with now. I think, a lot of my dear friends in town are my everyday collaborators. And I think I do my best work with those guys. Like I save my best ideas for my writes with, Costa Rock, Colton Venner, those kind of guys, because I trust them. And I think you certainly come in prepared to write with somebody who's got 11 number ones or something. And that's a really great opportunity and you need to be prepared. But it's like, I know that I already trust these guys that I've slugged it out with, So I think there's a freedom to that. So I hope I'm writing with those same guys. I hope I'm still having wonderful surprises like Texas and Weren't for the Win 5 years from now.
You will be.
I do feel like I'm in a really good spot right now in my career, and it's really exciting. And I don't want a lot to change. I just want to build on the foundation that I've built over really the last 3 years. Since I signed my deal 3 years ago, and I feel like
with Smack.
Yeah, with Smack, and I feel like that's really. When I signed my deal, I was like, okay, I'm at least playing the game now. The 3.5 years before that was like, how do I get in the game? And then I signed my deal. I'm like, okay, I'm in the game. How do I get to the Super Bowl? So yeah, I think it's a lot more of the same. That's what I would like. A lot more of the same.
I love that. Because you're just going to be logging more hours, man, more reps, showing up more.
More reps,
And then now that you have those 2 number ones, people are going to be looking at your catalog more as well, I would imagine, terms of. That's
an exciting prospect for sure. The one thing you can never do is like rest on that. You got to. I just kind of treat all those songs like they already happened, and what's happened with them has happened with them. And you got to be on to the next, believing today is the day that I do it. I can't trust that these however many 100 songs before are going to be the ones to do it again. But it is cool to think that, like, you hear about songs that took 7 years to get cut and that became a hit. It's like, it's cool to think that could happen, that like maybe I've already done the work on one.
I think Night Shift was like that because Topher Brown was on here.
Yeah. Topher's one of my best buddies in town.
Oh, dude. He's been really good to me. But he was saying, I think that multiple artists had it on hold before and then it was like, do we want to bet on this John Party guy? Like, who's an up and coming artist.
Yeah.
And all the writers were like, all right, let's do it. And now it's a staple song. Yeah. It's just interesting, those stories when you hear them.
Yeah.
You mentioned your personal life, and I like to talk about that because there's just such a, like we're all humans. We're all on this like life journey together. And a lot of times things just can come across so pretty and perfect, especially on social media and in the comparison game that we even like talked about at the beginning a little bit. Like it's easy to compare to our friends in different industries that are not in the creative world that are just killing it on the financial end. But you're also like, I'm playing the long game, betting on myself, and I could actually probably do way better than they're going to do in the long run if I just stick to doing what I'm doing. But it doesn't always, I guess the fruit and the reaping of your labor does not always produce the fruit that you want immediately, your job in New York would have.
Right.
Because you could have stayed at that level.
Gotten cushy pretty quick.
But also,
cushy quick.
The sky is the limit. Cushy quick could be I came up with that. I just want to say if you use that. If that's a great idea, just cushy quick.
I do have a ride after this.
I want to make sure to get you out of here on time.
No, I actually don't.
Your personal life. Oh, okay, sweet. Then we can write cushy quick.
Yeah.
Your personal life, man. Like there's career fulfillment. My psychologist or psychiatrist, not psychologist. Psychiatrist would say that like there's personal fulfillment, there's career fulfillment.
Yeah.
And he kind of breaks them down into these two things. And it seems like you have great career fulfillment.
At the moment, for sure.
At the moment.
Like I said, I'm still coming down.
Well, you're coming down just to go up again, man. You're a dude.
No, I'm excited. Yeah.
You got a great life ahead of you in your career, and it's exciting.
Thank you.
To be interviewing you. It's such an important season of your life.
It's
such a pivotal season.
It's cool to talk about it now when it's like, the whirlwind is still
whirlwinding.
Yeah. The whirlwind is winding.
The wind will come and go and come and go.
Yeah, if we weren't for it.
But the personal life stuff is one of those things that's like the anchor side, like the relationship side and all that. Like, where do you see yourself on your personal life in the next 5 years? Like, what are you kind of feeling hungry for?
Well, I think part of the sacrifice I've made the last, coming up on 7 years in September, has been like, one is a money thing. One is just like not being able to take a break thing. It's like, I haven't been able to go home as much. I'd love to be able to go home more. And I'd love to go on more trips with friends and not worry about, is this going to like bankrupt me? Like I just think there's people I've been wanting to spend more time with for years now, whether it's, my parents, my extended family, my friends from college, that, I feel like now what this has afforded me is also time. It's afforded me a time aspect where I can buy the plane ticket and go home for the weekend. So I hope there's a lot more of that, this year and 5 years down the road. I would like to say I've done a lot better with that aspect of my life because, life is short and you never know. And I think, there is a time where you got to put yourself first and sacrifice. And I've done that. And I think now it's time to like maybe reprioritize a few things.
Is it hard to have a relationship and do your line of work?
Like a romantic one?
Yeah, date.
I don't think so. No harder than anywhere else. I don't think so.
Because it's not like you're doing the artist thing where you're
Yeah. I can see where that
out on the road
complications,
constantly.
but it's all about like expectations and communication. If you can be upfront with somebody and it's like this is what this requires, and you don't give up your whole life for somebody on day one. It's you kind of. Sorry, I just knocked a pillow down. I think that's the part. It's like I'm joining your journey as much as you're joining mine. So I think it's not like this is how my job works and you can either get on board or not. I think you have to do that a little bit, but you have to do it a little bit for each other, or a lot of bit for each other. But I don't know. I think it's whether you're willing to compromise with somebody, whether you see them fitting into, but like, this is my life. This is my life regardless of somebody else. So, they're either going to be able to see themselves in it. I'm going to be able to see them in it or not. And that's, it's either going to work or
100%.
So, but
I think
then
one of the nice things you said, like even the homebody statement, I believe that you made earlier is it's nice when you're a writer and you can go to work, right? And come home.
There's a little less pressure for me. It's honestly, it's like there's days during the week where, in theory, I'd be home more than the average 9 to 5-er. Mm-hmm. Right now life's a little crazy. It's not so much like that right now, but
yeah, because most signed art, I mean, when you're new signed, like you want to write as many songs as possible.
Yeah,
there's a quota, but everybody's. This has been
the year of yes for me.
Yeah, the year of yes. Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man.
Well, when the 2 singles got sent, I called my publisher, Sam Sarno, and I just was like, there's an opportunity here. It's whatever makes sense. Let's do it. I was like, I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care if it just seems like for the next 2 weeks and the last 8 weeks. So these 10 weeks, I will have been gone 8 of them. Just like writing shows, this, that, the other thing. It's like, it's been a whirlwind. But it's been really fun. It's been really, I don't have one complaint about it. I'm a little tired, but like I've been working my whole life to be tired, This is what it's all about. I love that.
Well, it feels good when you're tired when you work hard, There's something about going home and feeling like, oh, I did something.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's really cool.
But no, I don't think it's hard to have a relationship. I think it's as hard as any relationship is to have. It's just about whether you're willing to work for it.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not willing to work for it at that time, then you probably shouldn't be in a relationship. If you are, then let it rip.
Yeah. So any single ladies listening to this,
yeah,
I heard it's really hard to date right now. Like, so I'm glad me and Haley have been together 13 years, married 9 this year.
Yeah.
But I heard that, and we met in church, like we met organically, but now a lot of dating happens on like apps and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I was curious about, and you don't have to go there, but as a general statement, I'm sure you have a lot of friends in town that are dating and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that like now? Is it all like swipes?
Well, I've never really been on the apps.
All right, that's good.
But it's kind of like, I don't know what it was like then, really. So I just know what it's like now. It's weird. It's weird, but like,
what's weird about it?
Oh, just how much like social media and that stuff can play into it sometimes. And it's, working a weird job. It's, you meet people in weird places, and it's like, I remember I have buddies like, you just need to settle down with a nice teacher or something. I'm like, I don't know any teachers. Like they're not coming to, never on Tuesday nights after rides, like
yeah.
I'm not, these aren't, but not to say I wouldn't. It's a weird town to date in, because I feel like there are a lot of like wayward souls like all figuring out kind of these like not normal job journeys, whether it's in music or out of music. I just feel like there's a lot of people here doing interesting things. So I think you kind of catch people in different seasons of life all the time. But I don't know.
That's interesting. The wayward soul thing's interesting. Just to interrupt, I had a conversation with the guy the other day. He's like, I was dating this girl, and she was an artist.
Yeah.
But then she was like, I want to move to LA to pursue my thing.
Yeah.
And it was like that whole wayward soul thing where she's like,
right. And it's probably like that to a degree everywhere. I don't imagine my scenario is special at all, but it is interesting when you're running around meeting people. You're like, people are here to do something a little different. And I think a lot of people are not putting their dating life first, which is awesome to have these goal-oriented people. So, but yeah, in 5 years, I would like to, I'll be 34 by then. I would like to have a family one day and all that stuff. So yeah. Not that
in the right timing, man.
All in the right time. And it's, it's got to be the right person. I'm not rushing this thing at all. So
yeah, I love that.
I'm having a really good time.
What was your first deal before Smack? Because you moved here in 18. Mm-hmm. Did you get signed right away?
No. Smack's my first publishing deal.
Oh, it is your first. So how many songs did you have to write before you got signed? And how long did the dating process with Smack happen? And what is the dating process?
Okay. Probably wrote somewhere around 500 songs before I signed my deal. So, 5, 6.
So in your Schedule A?
In my Schedule A, there's like 500 or 600 songs.
Okay. Schedule A, by the way, is your catalog of songs you've written before you signed your deal.
Predating your deal. Yep.
And they get them.
And yes. Yes. A percentage. No. Yeah, they get them. Okay, so I got hooked up with Smack this summer of 2022. I signed in August of 2022. I kind of had
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, they were later in the game with all of my like publishing dating things. I had taken some meetings throughout the year before that, where I was, taking intentional meetings and sending songs and, via email and just being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Please don't block me, that kind of thing. And then it kind of took a turn at the start of the summer. Kyle Sturrock, me and him, like I said, me and him have kind of always been linked in our careers. And
So you were independently writing with Kyle. Did Kyle have his UMPG deal?
No. So,
Okay.
but his deal kind of plays into my deal.
Okay.
In the sense that I think some publishers knew that him and I were like a thing in town. We had gotten this Chris Young cut that wasn't out, but it was like, I think like certainly we had done a good job spreading the word around, I think. But like people knew that we were kind of in that group of hopefully people coming up. And he signed a deal really quick. I think he knew who he wanted to work with. He got an offer, and I think he, like as you said, like I remember from his first offer to the UMPG thing to it all being sort of a done deal was like 3 weeks, a month. Like it happened really quick.
Was his first offer with you with the Roxy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I think he was like, I want to work with you. What do you got? But I won't speak for them. I think he called them and they were like, yeah, we want to work with you. So, and that's kind of how it goes. You get one person to jump in, everybody jumps in.
Yeah. Why is that? And how do you get that first person to jump in? Because a lot of people are going to have that question too, because they work their tails off and they have these meetings and they're always told, keep sending songs.
Yeah. I have no idea what it was like for him.
But I mean, for a lot of people.
But for me, it was like
you said, you were emailing.
Yeah, just take it. But it was always like, keep sending songs and then setting up on co-writes with other writers there. Hopefully getting good songs. So they were like, hey, I loved that. And then like maybe the next meeting you meet like more of the team. And that's kind of like a good sense, like if things are at least trending in a good direction, I think. But for me, Kyle signed his deal pretty quick. And I think him and I share a lawyer. And I think the lawyer is a little bit of a secret piece to the whole thing. Like they kind of, and I'll get to that in a second, but we share a lawyer. Roxy King is his publisher. When she signed Kyle, she's like, well, now we got to get you a deal. You can't be writing all these songs with Kyle and not having them go anywhere, like in a joking way, but also serious. It's like, let's get you going. So she was helpful in the process. And like I said, I was already taking meetings. So Roxy started reaching out to a couple publishers in town. My lawyer started reaching out, kind of being like, these two guys have a good thing going and one of them's taken, So I kind of ended that summer with like 7 offers, which was really exciting. And
wow.
It was really exciting and just...
and so the attorney played into that.
The attorney, because she once things started moving a little bit quicker, she was like, who do you want to meet? Who have you not met with that you think might be like, you might have a good relationship with? And if anything, it's a good person for you to meet and maybe work with some of their people.
Pause.
Yeah.
Did you want to sign with a major or an independent?
I wanted to go independent, but
why?
All options were open. I think being a new guy at a major is pretty tough unless you have a real advocate for you there. And I didn't have one yet.
Sideline for majors, we've got what? Universal, Warner, Sony.
BMG is the biggest independent.
Is it? No, I know, but for the major.
No, but I was trying to remember if they were major or not.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. But all to say, I think there's a level of like development and extra focus you get at an independent. Now, like someone like Kyle, he has had a really good setup. So obviously there are exceptions to the rule. But for me, I was definitely chasing down the independents a little harder. And in Formula One, I'm a big Formula One guy. They have this thing called silly season, which is like where if you see drivers shuffle mid-season or sign new contracts mid-season, it's like this period where like all the deals have to be done by, and it's affectionately referred to as silly season just because a lot of seats move around and new people come in. There's a lot of headlines, and I always look back at that summer being like, that was my silly season. Because just because there were so many new people I was meeting and new rights and everything was so exciting. And then the first deal came in, it was offered to me in the room. And I was like, I left, I called my lawyer. I was like, I just got my first offer. She went kind of like, bingo, now we go to work. And
so was it a verbal offer?
It was a verbal offer.
By A&R?
Just by the publishers. They were all in the room, and it was really exciting.
So the folks at like the company.
Yeah, they didn't wait until I left. They just told me spot on. They were like, we're going to call and see if we can find something that works. And then, and once you have that, then your lawyer can be like, there's an offer. And then those people all start going, okay, well, are we going to try this or not? And at the end of it, Smack just felt like the right partner. They were a little later in that process, but going back to Kyle signing with Roxy and how that helped me, Roxy introduced me to Sam.
And what does Sam do?
Sam Sarner is my like point person at Smack. Okay. She's a publisher.
Okay.
Creative team.
Part of the creative team director.
Creative director. I can never remember the titles, but yeah, creative director.
Okay.
She's doing great.
Yeah.
Creative director. But yeah, that just felt like I just had a meeting with her, and I just felt like we could probably get something done in a short amount of time. And yeah, she took a chance on me. I took a chance on them, and we've done some good stuff together the last 2.5 years.
That's
coming
awesome.
up on 3 here.
So did Seven give you an extraordinary amount of negotiating power for your first deal?
Yes and no.
Where did the business mind kick in there, and did it?
I had some really, like, some people like offer me some really great deals, and then some not so much. And I'll say I didn't take the best deal. Like I went and worked with who I thought I was going to have success with, and like build a really great foundation with. So, the deal points matter. And like I said, there were certain things that I wanted to see happen. But at the end of the day, I was like, especially for my first deal, like, where do I think I'm going to, build up the Johnny Clawson name the best in 4 years? And that's not to say I couldn't have done it with any of these other people, because I still work with a lot of these publishers with their writers all the time. And I think there's a lot of really good publishers in town right now, a lot of like real like hustlers. But the place I chose is the place I chose, and I have no regrets.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm very grateful for where I ended up.
Yeah. Smack has a good vibe.
Smack has a great vibe.
Lee's going to be on the podcast next Monday.
Everybody but Lee has a great vibe, so good luck.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding. No, Lee's great.
I heard he sucks.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I met him. I met Robert too. They seem just super chill. The whole vibe over there is just
Have you
really
walked in the building?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like, to me, it's got like this Silicon Valley, like the hanging lights. And
yeah.
Everybody's in the lobby in the morning. And I don't know, it's just like we all go on like a retreat every year. And there's usually some events like post 4 p.m. in the building. And it's just a real like communal.
That's how I felt.
Vibe. So it's been a really fun place to work at. And, there's some writers that are older there who've signed on in the last year or so.
Is Mark one of them?
Mark's one. Mark Irwin.
Yeah.
Mark Beeson is also there. He's been there for a good bit, but Mark Irwin's there. And that's who I'm talking about. He's been in the industry a while and had a lot of success, but he's like, he told me his first retreat was one with Smack. Like, like he's like, I think
he writes a lot of Eagle-esque stuff.
Yeah, he's got a really cool style. He wrote one of my favorite songs by Alan Jackson. I'm a little bluer than that. He's awesome. But yeah, anyways, it's cool to hear from some cats who've been in the game a little longer that they also think it's a special place. I didn't know if I was looking at it through this like tunnel vision, biased lens, but no, it's been a really special place. And it's cool that we've had some really fun moments together. Like all the Texas stuff, especially having 3 writers at Smack. It's like we've had so many
that's big for the company.
Celebrations in-house.
I love that.
Yeah.
What are, without going into your specific deal, but deal points? Because one of the things that I think is...
I make $1 million a week. I own everything.
Yeah, dude. One of the things that's so interesting is the intricacies of points, like publishing, writer share, masters, producers. Mm-hmm. Like there's all these different places. And one of the things I learned that I didn't even know was like, you don't even just like register songs with your PRO, but it's also the distributor. And then there's also Sound Exchange. And then there's also one other one that I'm not thinking about right now. And they all collect royalties for you. Mm-hmm. There's so much. And it just gets real complicated real fast. And then you have 4 writers on a song. And potentially they could have different publishers. Mm-hmm. And so you have all these splits. And it's just like overwhelming. So that doesn't even cover the deal points really. Yeah. But what are the big ones that we should know about when it comes to signing a deal or your first deal, especially?
I think the most important thing is like, early on you have to take certain hits as they come, but like I think just publishing is the more you can own, the better. Just that the more you own, the more you own. 2, the more money you make. Just that ends up mattering so much down the line. And like you say, you sacrifice a bit of that early on for opportunity. But there has to come a point where you are having a little more ownership over the songs that you're writing.
Yeah. And a lot of the people that I know that are the first time deal, it's like the publisher owns the publishing and they own their writer share.
Yeah. Now, if you can get a little back as you go, like I know that deals work that way.
Yeah, when you re-up.
Definitely when you re-up. But even like there's a lot of deals where it's like you get, after 2 years, you get X percentage back. Or your 4th year, you get X percentage back. Like those are nice things to try to fight for.
On that half of the song, so since a song's like a pie, it's broken into 2. Writers half 50, the other half is 50 for publishing, which equals 100. On that publishing side, do they go by points or percentages? And is it
percentages? I imagine.
Okay. Yeah. So would it be like you own is 10% of publisher side really 5% of the entire like? How do they do that? Is it like out of 50 or out of 100?
The best way I was explained is like view it all as 200%. So 200%, 100% being publishing, 100% being writer share, because they are different things. Yeah. So writer share, that's like if you and I write a song. Say you and I write a song. I have a publishing deal where they have all my publishing. You have a publishing deal where they have 50, where you guys are 50-50. So if we're looking at a 200% pie, you and me are splitting 100. I have 50. They have my other 50, right? Mm-hmm. You have your 50, and then you guys split that other 50. So you have 75. They have 25. 200%.
Got you.
I hope that made sense, like from a listener's perspective. That makes sense. But
is there more money on the publishing share side than the writer side?
I'll let you know if I ever see any of it. I have no idea. That's my real answer. I don't know.
Yeah, because I have no clue either. Like it's all a mystery. There's so much mystery in it. And when it comes to contracts and all that, like it's just seems like there's so many little things.
For sure. But that's why you have lawyers that like know how to take care of you. And I remember when right before I signed my last contract, I had this 30-page document. She goes, we're going to go through this whole thing. And I was like, I'm never leaving this chair, but that's what you need. You need somebody to tell you exactly what you're getting into.
Yeah. But, so basically they can go through in all the legal language.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to read it to you like you're 5. I was like, read it to me like I'm 4 because I still don't get it. It's like,
that's cool. That's a good attorney.
Yeah. Rachel Gutman. She rocks.
Rachel Gutman.
Rachel Gutman.
Rachel.
Yep.
I was going to say Razor's is a pretty killer name for an attorney.
Razor.
I'm going to razor you.
Yeah. But
bro, so what's your biggest piece of advice for the songwriter that doesn't have the publishing deal yet, that is dreaming of having it, and they're a little discouraged because they feel like the industry is not taking as many outside songs as they once did.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, should I do this thing? Or the person that's the artist that just wants to go the artist route but get a publishing deal to cut a record.
Sure.
Which one of those has more chance of getting legs?
I think they both do. If what you're creating is special and it's unique to you, and if you're doing good work, you're gonna find your way. My biggest advice is I have a few things. Show up. Celebrate little things. Because that's all that's gonna hold you over most of the time. Is the little things will get you up the next day.
What's a minute little thing?
Oh, these days, like getting a hold, holds, I've kind of see the way when people are like holds don't matter anymore. It's like, I get what they're saying now, but it's still it's just cool that it happened. It's one step in the right direction. So celebrate holds, celebrate a good song. That's the best part of the whole job anyways. It's like when you write a good song, just give yourself a pat on the back because you did that, That's my favorite part. When I get in my car and I play a song I wrote, that I'm like, I don't know if anybody else is going to like this, but I love this. That's what I did this morning. I got a demo back. I played it in the car on the way here and I just went, hell yeah. It's a great moment, So celebrate those things. If you have a good meeting, celebrate a good meeting, and then really celebrate the big things because those don't come around that often.
Yeah. I love that, man. That's such a great way that we all need to look at life, no matter what it is that we do. I think it's so easy to always be looking towards climbing the next mountain or whatever it may be, versus living in the moment and being like, hey, this was great.
You got to trust that God's got you.
Yeah.
You gotta, oh man, what's the phrase? I'm going to mess it up. Take care of yourself at home, because that, if you show up to work, if your life's a mess at home, you're probably going to be a mess at work. Like I found when I started taking care of myself a little better, everything else got better too. So, and I think
physically, emotionally,
both,
dietarily,
both, or all three. Yeah. Everything. Just if you water your own flowers, because that'll only help you in the long run. Because this is a long game.
Yeah, it is, man. We have to think in terms of decades, not years.
Yeah, geez, scary.
No, you really do. I think that in the creative world, you can't just a decade goes by pretty fast. I mean, I'm sure that your years at Smack have just gone by.
Yeah, and I'm not foolish enough to not recognize that this has happened generally quickly, and I'm really grateful for this incredible year that I've had. But it didn't feel like it when it was, when I was slugging away year 1, year 2. I'm like, something has got to give, So I get it. Every day I don't have good news. I'm like, certainly there's got to be good news around the corner. I think that's natural. You're looking for the next thing.
You almost have a positivity bias.
Me? Yeah. I've heard that before. I'm
Dude,
a chronic.
I need a dose of that.
I'm a little bit of a chronic optimist.
Dude, where did that come from? Just wiring?
It's just that's another. The thing is, I am deadly serious about the things I love and the things I create, but it's also, I gotta have the attitude of none of it's that serious. We could be digging holes. Do you read books? Yeah.
Have you read Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Because I obviously have heard.
Yeah, the less F's you can give, the better.
Yeah, but I hope it doesn't come across that.
And it doesn't come across that way. That's not what the book is, but I mean.
Because I really do care a lot, probably too much a lot of the time. But it's about not letting it like consume. Because when I get into that,
it can't consume your identity, man.
Well, it's like even in my personal life, once I start letting something consume me, I just kind of went through this thing where I was letting it haunt my day and night. And I woke up yesterday morning. I was just like, get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. You know, like you're obviously, I heard Emily Wiseman say this on your podcast. She said, like, if it's giving you anxiety, it's because you care. So let yourself care and then do what you know is the right thing. And I think you're allowed to be confused for a little bit, but just not even the right thing. That's not the right thing. But it's like, you know, it's not that serious. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
We're just writing songs out here.
Yeah, you're just writing songs,
and
man.
It's also deadly serious.
But you can't overthink it, man. That's just
I think the moment you do, you start doing things not for the right reasons. That's really like kind of, I write songs because I love to write songs. I write with who I write with because I love to write with them. And the rest is like, that's one of the beautiful things about having like a publisher or something. It's like the rest of it's like kind of out of my control anyways. Not that there aren't things I do to put myself in a better position or things that I try to do to move the needle. But it's like when we get to deal points and all that stuff, it's like, that's the last thing I think about. You know, I just, now, like I said, there's a time and place, but I just try not to worry about it so much.
Yeah. Well, and
I'm going to get royally screwed over one day with that mentality.
Nah, dude. You can play both sides. I think that I get it. I see it. You're like a shark and a
golden retriever
at the same time. Yeah, a golden retriever.
I hear that all the time. I don't know if I like that.
Nah, dude. I was
gonna
say you're a shark and a seal.
Ooh. Can I at least be like a hammerhead shark, like a sick shark?
Yeah, you can be whatever shark you want, but you got the chill, laying in the sun seal vibe, and then the the other side.
It's gonna be the title of my episode: a shark and a seal.
Yeah, dude.
Man,
it's been great talking to you. I'm gonna count this a little as a celebration.
You know what?
Let's celebrate.
We are celebrating. It's cool to reflect on. Like I said, like kind of in the moment. So
yeah,
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, dude, and I'm excited for you.
Likewise,
you have a very advantageous personality. Did I use that word right? What am I looking for? What's a word? Give me a word. You're a songwriter.
Say about myself? Certainly not.
No, it's advantageous isn't the right word.
But I'm going to take it as a compliment.
But sometimes my brain just like locks up and I can't think of what I want to say.
Me too.
Yeah. But it's I don't know. There's other words, magnetic maybe. But I think
I like that.
That it's yeah, man. There's just a vibe, so it's cool. Because I sit down and talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I always want the podcast to turn out good, you know?
Yeah.
But everybody's different. Everybody's personality is different.
Right.
And certain people are certain ways and other people aren't. And most people are really cool. And my two pillars for this podcast are, one, hopefully make a friend. And two is if this conversation produces fruit in one person's life, it was worth it. So I have to think about the one.
Right.
I can't think about, how many listeners am I going to get on Spotify this week?
Well, what is if you whatever, they will come. Like if you're doing great work, they'll come.
Yeah. Well, just having you say that you listened to the Emily Wiseman episode and that one thing she said impacted you.
Yeah.
If you have anxiety, it's because you care.
She's a smart lady.
She is.
And a mega talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And her sister's very successful too.
Oh yeah.
But that to me is like, oh wow, didn't know that, because I don't get that feedback,
Right.
Ran into Kyle Sturrock. He's like, dude, I'm listening to your Tom Douglas episode right now. It's like I have no clue who's listening.
Yeah.
But it's cool to hear that stuff.
And it's cool. I mean, like I'm sure it's just as cool when it's people like songwriters in town listening about other songwriters, as cool as it's as cool for that to happen as it is for people who have nothing to do with the industry, just curious.
Yeah.
Because this is a whole new world for them, I'm sure. But it's cool to think that you're talking to your peers, but also like some people who just want to know more about the business.
Yeah, which is what I love.
Yeah. And you structure it a great way by like making clarifying points for people who don't know, and then allowing the conversation to go into some of that inside baseball stuff as well. Yeah.
I'm trying to make it clarify, because Haley was saying, like, what is a writer's retreat? I didn't know what that, or a bus run.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I need to clarify some of these things for folks listening. But there's a lot of parallels between, just like the songwriting, life, business, like entrepreneurship. They all kind of, there's a lot of verticals within this thing
no doubt,
being a songwriter or an artist. So it's hopefully going to reach more than just people interested in songwriting. But if that's all it reaches, it's still a win, Wherever it goes, just like your songs.
Yes. And yours are reaching a lot of people that I know. So,
well, dude, thank you, man. Thank you. Johnny, where can people go to check out a couple things? One, they could follow you on Instagram. What's your handle?
Johnny Clawson Music. That's where like most up-to-date stuff.
With a non-conventional spelling. Will you spell it?
JOHNNY.
Double N's.
CLAWSON. And then music, like music.
Was Johnny Clawson taken?
Huh?
Was Johnny Clawson taken on Instagram, so you had to put music after it?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if I even tried that.
Because there was a point in time where I was Stephan Hogan Music. I remember for a sec there, and then I just switched it to my name. And then what about, like, is there any like playlists out there with some of the songs that you've written?
No, none officially. I do have music out. It's older, but
like
I'm still proud of it. So you can check that out. I think Smack made me a playlist that you can find. It'd be like Songwriter Johnny Clawson or whatever.
Okay.
Or Smack Writer Johnny Clawson, something like that. But yeah,
we need to get Spotify to give you one of them writer
that'd be awesome.
Playlists.
That'd be awesome. I'm not sure I deserve it yet, but it would be awesome.
I would be, dude.
I'm gonna earn it.
You're gonna get it. All right, cool, man. Well, it's been a pleasure, Johnny.
Likewise.
Thanks for being on the podcast. If I could reach you, I'd shake your hand and do that at the end.
Oh, dude, I got you.
All right.
Check that out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Clawson. Check him out. Check out Texas. Check out Weren't for the Wind.
Stephan Hogan Podcast.
And we will see you next time.
Definitely.
Peace.
This is the Stephan Hogan Podcast.